Hello everyone, Mikezodia here. I know I said I wasn't going to make a video till 3.0, but the things I'm going to talk about in this video should not be affected by the new changes, so it should be alright. For those of you who are wondering what some of the changes are, I'm going to put one of Biggie's videos on my description link, so you guys can check it out and see some of the changes there. One of the big changes is medical history is going to be gone. And for some people that was part of their build, this is due to balance changes, because in all honesty it was way too easy. Like, you just give up stuff that you're not going to use anyway, and you get some massive benefits in return for it. Now with the new trade system, you really have to pick and choose if you want to use them. It's a big trade-off. Now some of them are really good though, I'm not going to lie. Okay, so as for this video, as you know that there's many spells in Requiem, and some of the newer players, myself included when I started, like, we took spells for face value, right? You see a spell, you cast it, great, but Requiem has so many spells in there and a lot of good combinations also. And let me show you something real quick. One of my favorite trees of all time is Alteration, and in my opinion, it is by far one of the strongest trees in this game. And it does not matter if you're a mage, a stealth character, a warrior, there is something in Alteration for everybody, and it's one of the trees where if you have these points, you should definitely invest into it. And the funny thing is, you don't even need to be able to cast anything. You could have like starting magicka and still be really good with Alteration. So the biggest one you're going to see is in Apprentice Alteration, where you get this spell called Octavio's Recital. And this spell pretty much lets you auto cast things onto yourself free of charge. For example, I have Iron Flesh. This is a self-casting spell, right? So I can actually use Octavio's Recital to put this on myself at the start of battle automatically. And there you go, the spell is now stored. That means whenever we go into battle, Stone Flesh would automatically be casted on me. So now I already have the protection spell, and it didn't cost me any magic to cast it. And the best part is, it's also a warning. If you're walking around and suddenly Stone Flesh gets casted on you, that now means you're now in combat, so something is ready to attack you. You have no idea how many times that saved me from a saber cast sneaking up on me. Okay, so here we're going to talk about some of the other stuff that I got. In Alteration, there's another perk right here. Unskilled Spellcasting. For those of you who don't know what this is, it's pretty much a jack-of-all perk. Let's pretend I wanted to use healing and restoration, but I didn't want to throw a point into there, right? That's what Unskilled Spellcasting is. At first perk, you now get Novice in every other spell tree automatically. If you look, I have no points into Novice Restoration, right? So if I was to cast a healing spell, like even the basic Novice healing spell, it would drain my magicka like crazy, because I have no perks in there. But now, because I have this one here, it treats it as if I had a perk there as well. So right now it's 2 points, so it's at apprentice level, so I can now cast apprentice level spells from any single tree and have it be 50% magicka cost, which is really good. And this is the nice way to get, like, for example, if you're trying to use illusion and you wanted to throw a few like illusion spells into your build, but you don't want to invest into illusion, it's a great way to be able to use that. The downside is, though, I won't get the added benefits. For example, if I had Novice Restoration, I could also grab Improved Healing, which would heal me for more, but obviously I won't get this as a jack of all. It's a small trade-off, though. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted that perk is for this specific spell. Circle of Entropy. And what this one does is it gives you a really good magical regeneration, something that most mages will struggle on. As you can see, there is my current magicka right there. You see it? You see how it regenerates? It's still pretty fast because I have a lot of good magicka gear on, but still, it's not the greatest, right? Now look, that's a lot more faster, right? And so that's this ability right here. Normally a destruction mage would have access to this because they're going to be lobbing spells like crazy. So having a little bit of extra magic regeneration helps them. But now, thanks to Alteration, we could now utilize this as a Necromancer. And this is really great for us. Now, the next thing I want to show you is a adept level alteration spell called Twine. Now, there's a rumor that this one might be boosted to master level in 3.0, so just bear that in mind, or even expert. But right now, this is a really amazing spell, and what this does, it lets you modify a spell on your left hand with some new properties. For example, I have Circle of Entropy right now on my left hand. So I'm going to now modify it with Twine, and you can only modify one spell at a time, at least for now. Now take a look. I can now give this spell new properties. For example, if I pick Cushion, I can now cast this spell myself and then throw myself off a cliff, and I will take no fall damage. I could also give myself Haste for a speed boost, Flow. So that means after I cast this, now all my spells for the next 5 seconds will be 20% cheaper, which is pretty cool. And as you can see, this you can just read it yourself. There's many modifications you do. I'm going to go for healing. So now, if I were to take damage, this spell that normally would regenerate only my magicka will now regenerate my health also. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to take damage with, but if I did, I would be able to take some damage and then show you. Or we could probably do that in combat or something. Okay, so with that said, let's move on to some more Necromancer themed stuff. First thing we're going to do is Necromancer Ritual. For those of you who are familiar with this one, whenever a minion that you have conjured dies, this spell will regenerate some of the magicka back to you. It lasts for a while, so it's one of those things you want to do like ahead of time, like before you enter combat. And overall it's a pretty useful spell. And it doesn't matter if your conjured creature died in combat, if its duration ran out, or if you just casted another one and the old one died, it will refund the cost to you. This is great because if you're spamming a lot of skeletons because they're dying quickly, this will help ease the burden off you. And this in combination with the Circle of Entropy, you should have plenty of magicka to spend. So another thing I want to show you is, here, let me revive this guy real quick. Alright, so now I brought this guy back to life. And there's one thing I wanted to show you guys, and that is if you press B, this opens your follower command tree. And if you see one right here, it calls teleport. If your follower is ever stuck on something or a wall or whatever, you can use teleport to free them. But more importantly, this only works on followers. So if I was to click this right now, you notice that nothing happened, right? He's still standing right there. Now I have a skeleton out here. Let's try the same thing again. Notice how the skeleton appeared towards me. That's because a skeleton that's been conjured is considered a follower. You can even talk to it and trade stuff. So this matters for stuff like this. In Wayfarer and Speechcraft, you're going to have things that affect followers, or allies really. And I have to do some testing on this, but if I'm correct, allies are considered followers, not just anyone who's walking around with you. So if my assumptions are correct, the reanimated summons won't be affected by things like Commander, whereas your conjured skeletons or even anything else you conjure will be affected by this and can be boosted. So if you want to give your guys some extra damage and stuff, that's one way to do it. Now let's show another great, awesome spell. This one is called Power of Master, and basically what it does is any self-cast ability can then be given to your summons as if they casted them themselves. For example, Iron Flesh. Now each of these guys have Iron Flesh on them to make them a little more tankier. You can even do crazy things like bound weapons. Now each of them is armed with a bound weapon prior to combat. Pretty cool, huh? It's a great way, and this is just with one skeleton. If I had more skeletons, it'd be even more better. Notice by recasting it, this got burst of magicka back. That's because the other thing activated. I got 2 skeletons with bound axes. And keep in mind, I'm only messing with the conjuration tree. You see, the Power Master does not care what spell tree you're using. For example, there's a destruction spell called Absorbing Cloak. As you can see, as long as this cloak is on, it absorbs 10 health from nearby opponents, and you gain that health as a regen. So I don't have the spell learned, but if I did, I could use the same spell to put a cloak on these things. Now the important thing to remember is it acts as if they casted it themselves. So with the Life Leech one, instead of healing me, it's going to heal the skeletons. So they're absorbing hit points from enemies that are nearby them, and that's a great way to keep them, alive a bit longer. Then there's other things called like Balance on Self. Read Balance on Self, you notice that reflecting 65% of incoming physical damage back to the attacker for that duration. So could you imagine your skeletons, which are expendable, getting hit, and the damage they're getting hit by being bounced back to their attackers? So right now, with Power Master, I just gave that buff to him. Another thing to realize is, notice the cost of Bound to Self is 121. Meanwhile, the cost of Power Master is only 78. So for 78 magicka, I'm pretty much casting a stronger spell for cheaper. This is especially true when you're using spells from a different tree. For example, let's say Destruction. As you can see, the Absorbing Cloak is an adept level cloak. And even with the Unskilled Alteration perk, I don't have Adept unlocked yet. So this would be a very expensive spell to cast. But now I'm ignoring that cast time because I'm using Power of Master to cast it on them. Now keep in mind that just because they could equip a weapon doesn't mean they're going to use it. For example, these skeletons which actually pretty, something I tried that was really funny was I went to the Hall of Vigilance and got the Adric Scepter, which is a spell that creates a holy weapon. Normally it's used by paladins, right? So out of curiosity, I went ahead and cast it on the skeletons, and sure enough, they could use it, and they don't suffer any penalties like a health degen or anything like that. The downside is, once they enter combat, they switch back to the two-handed weapon because it did more damage. But this is a great way to add cool stuff to your minions, and this is just an example, you know. There are so many combinations you can do with this thing if you just look. Like, there's so many different spell trees, and if you look in them, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of self-casting abilities that may work with your summons and make them stronger. So this is something to keep an eye out for. Now, I could showcase you a little bit of a battle if you want. As you may know, this is a cloth armor Necromancer. As you can see, I'm in full cloth, so getting killed would be actually pretty easy on this guy. Now, I could show you a bandit camp, but I am currently level 14. Yeah, so 14, most builds at level 10 could kill bandits camps. For Bleak Falls Barrow, you should be anywhere between 15 and 25. However, the boss of Bleak Falls, on the other hand, is another story. There are people who are level 25 that still can't kill him. I know in 3.0 they're going to make some changes here to make it a little more accessible, you know. I don't know if they're just going to get rid of the final boss or just going to make some tweaks to it, but there will be changes to here. But all in all, Bleak Falls at level 14 is actually a bad idea. And, I mean, some builds could do it, but not every build. And also it's suggested to have followers with you, but as a Necromancer, we are going to go in solo and just stress test this build to see how it works. As you know, automatically Iron Flesh will be casted on me, so I'll be focusing mostly on summoning skeletons out. And we'll see how it goes from there. So for the rest of this video, I just hope you enjoy and, you know, just see how the Necromancer gameplay goes. And if it's something that you like, it's a build you could work towards, you know? This is one thing you could try. And this is just my version of a Necromancer in cloth armor, you know? And this is with me experimenting. So your version will probably be better. Alright, here goes. Now, before we get into any hectic situation, we could cast Necromancer's Ritual. This way, if they kill my summons, I'll get a refund and I could then cast more. We'll keep Circle of Entropy on us at all times because this is both our healing for self-healing and also for magic and recovery. As you can see, I also packed some illusion spells on me.
You ain't the first person I've killed, and you won't be the last.
As you can see, that was just a slaughter. Another cool thing about the Alteration tree is you can unlock stuff with the spells. remember how I said the alteration is good with other warriors and stuff like that? Because the self-casting, you could cast like things that you normally couldn't cast as a warrior on yourself before fights. Yeah, I'm still in cloth armor, so if you don't see me peek around corners, it's because it's probably an archer aiming at my general direction. And even if they're not aiming at me, if the arrow misses my skeleton and then hits me, it could still probably, you know, hurt me or kill me. You can see I'm having no magicka issues because of this ring. So it's a great way to, you know, kind of mix destruction spells in with your necromancy. And keep in mind that because I have the apprentice perk, I can actually start lobbing in some firebolts in here if I wanted to. Ran off. In case you're wondering why I'm not looting stuff, it's because this is more of a showcase for you guys, so I don't really mind, you know, not being able to get the treasures here now. See, my magic is recovering slower in combat, but I still have enough to resummon my skeletons. And of course, when they die, I get the massive refund. For those of you guys who ever fought this dude, he's like, I don't know how warriors go against this guy. He's quite a menace. I think the poison damage is more than physical, but let's see how it works.
Don't let it get me.
Yeah, I think that didn't even last. I think he killed himself.
Don't leave me for RK's sake. You, over here. It's coming loose. I can feel it. Why should I share the treasure with anyone?
Yeah, if you guys did come here as a warrior, make sure you bring something that can handle poison, because you know, my skeletons are expendable, so I don't really care. But for any other character, you know, you're not expendable.
Guide.
That spider's luring you into a trap, bud. The beauty of Necromancer is you can sit here and start looting while your guys do all the work for you. Kind of reminds me of Diablo 2 days for those who ever played it. Oh boy. That just makes it really rough terrain for them to walk over. Like I said, there's so many spell combinations that you could do. It's ridiculous. And all you need is a little bit of imagination. Like, I know people like to read the spells and be like, oh, let's just go straight fireball everything, but it, you know, it works, but it's also some fun combinations you can make. All you have to do is just give the game a chance in that sense. It's archers. See, as long as you have Magicka, you have an army. Oh, I accidentally casted that on them. can see, I took a hit, but my stone flesh saved me. I'm still taking some bleed damage, but now let's give it a trial with remember that spell Twine? There we go. I'm fully healed now, and I don't even have restoration. That was normally meant for a destruction mage lobbing fireballs as a way to self-heal, but now we utilize it for our own purposes. Yeah, these guys don't care if they walked into that. This is what I was trying to cast before. Notice how you get stunned a little bit. See that? They're getting stunned all off on that. Kind of just slows their progression a little bit, and if they get stunned, our guys can land a hit on them. You see, that's a great way to utilize all kinds of spells to make your Necromancer more stronger. Now, obviously, when I do a full Let's Play, I could, do a full exploration of this place. But for the most part, I'm just trying to see which way is the right way and kind of just beeline to the ending. But for the most part, you also guys are, you guys are kind of like getting the idea of how this build is working now. I think that guy's real. Oh god, they just left me by myself. He's an archer too. I wouldn't recommend that, by the way. If you had a bound weapon, sure, you could use bound weapons with this. But just punching like that. As you can see on the top right, you can see all the stuff that's cast on me. That sword symbol with the shield, that's the oak flesh. So yeah, every time we enter combat, it's automatically on me. I don't have to sit there doing it. I know in vanilla that was such a headache. You had to constantly walk with a stone flesh on your right click. Pre-buff just in case. I don't know what's in this area. Lost both my summons too. as long as you cast that circle thing before you start summoning, you'll get all your magicka back before the next fight. This is bad. The summons did not follow me to the door. Oh jeez, they walked to the doors too. This did not turn out the way I planned. You guys are probably just laughing on their side. Trap just saved my life. My stun plus is about to run out too. Yeah, the downside to Octavio's is once you're in combat, it will not recast. It only starts only casts at the start of combat. So if the combat lasts for a long time, you're gonna have to refresh it yourself. Look at this. Oh man, that was so hectic. You know, now that I think back on it, like, you know, I couldn't think so quickly on the fly, like what to do at that point, because I was running low on magicka. But I probably should have thrown a frenzy spell on that point if I would have slowed them down a little bit to make them fight each other. But you know, you just have that panic response because all I see is a bunch of undead running at me with swords, and I'm thinking like, oh man, this is where the video ends. But I'm pretty sure you guys had a good laugh out of that one. You gotta watch the archers though. Oh no. Did I forget to grab that off to him? Oh no, I have to backtrack. Okay, so for the sake of the video, I'm just gonna, like, if nothing happens, I'm just going to fast forward for you guys. This way I have to watch me run all the way back just to get this key. Hey guys, I'm back. So yeah, nothing really happened. I think one of the traps reset, and that's about it. But I just got the claw, came back. So for the most part, we're good. Oh yeah, so let's get this started. Let's see what all the fuss is about near the end of Bleak Falls. Alright, we're gonna see how this turns out. I am having a bit of a bad feeling. Oh, Mana Magica. That was my mistake, I wasn't paying attention to it. One summon down. Notice I got refunded at least. Guess we see how that Necromancer ritual is paying off right now. get rid of that archer guy. This is kind of a dangerous spot for medium because those archers can be taking shots at me too. As you can see, I'm still having a little bit of a magic issue, but nothing too bad. If I just wait a little bit. If you're in one of those hectic situations where your skeleton is just dying immediately, then you gotta find some other method to ease the burden a little bit. At that point, you know, magical potions or something would be useful. Yeah, that frenzy paid off. Did level up too. Alright, let's see what all the fuss is about. What is that damage? Jeez. I just got roasted alive. What was that damage? think stone flesh is going to matter. Iron flesh, rather. Okay, got his attention. Now I need him to fight my skeletons instead of me. Just too much damage. This is with expendable troops. Could you imagine your warrior having to go into that? Not even denting his health, he's like just regenerating everything back. Yeah, this is way too much damage. Well, guys, I don't think I can beat this guy. At least not at my current level. He's level 40. I'm level 15 now, I guess, if I level up. But still, I just think he's just out of my reach right now. My skeletons just don't do much damage. I've had to come back with something a bit stronger. But I do hope that you guys did like this video. I mean, it had some comedy moments, I guess, with me running around. But for the most part, I kind of showed you guys some of the combinations of spells you could do, and as you saw in that fight, the healing was keeping me alive even without restoration. And these are just some of the small combinations that you could add together by combining the spells in Lorerim. So always, like, just don't always go for the cookie cutter. I mean, you could, but it's just so many fun combinations you could do. Even small things like that, like the Perilous Pat. You saw what that did. I mean, it had its uses. I'm not going to say it's the strongest spell in the game, but you saw how it just helped in choke points and stuff. So it's pretty much one of those things where you could utilize spells to your advantage. Another mistake I see a lot of people do is, if you look at my skills right quick, you'll notice that around 50 is like a good break point for most spells, like the spell section, because spells is like 15, 25, 50, and 75, and after 50 it costs 3 points just for a single level of let's just bring it up by 1 level. And in my opinion, that's just not worth it. At that point, like, for illusions right now it's level 50, so they'll cost 3 points just to bring it up to 51. And I think rather than doing that, you could focus on other parts of your tree that you're kind of lacking in, you know. So for me, I think I threw some into, you can see Alchemy is 45 right now. Wayfarer is 50. I think Speechcraft was something I raised also, like right here, Speech 65. That's because I'm wearing an amulet. But all that stuff adds up, because right now with high speech, I could hire followers for really cheap, and my buying and selling is really good. Wayfarer, if I start putting points in there, and even Speechcraft, I could start making my summons even stronger that way. So 50 is usually a good break off. At that point, you want to kind of, even if it's your main skill, you could kind of dwindle off a little bit and start raising your support abilities to make it stronger, because Alchemy and you know, all the other great stuff. Could make your damage or defense go higher than if it was just to keep slotting into the same skill, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I hope this video kind of gave you guys some new ideas or new approaches to your own Necromancer. And if you're not a Necromancer, some of the stuff I covered in this video could be used on any characters. Like that autocast thing, I'm not sure if you ever tried this before, but I made a Blood Knight build as kind of like a trial, and it actually performed really well. I took a two-handed warrior, and I used Octavio's autocast, right? And I used this thing right here. I basically went down the destruction tree with a little bit into alteration, and mostly a two-handed warrior with heavy armor, right? I put this absorbing cloak on autocast, so as soon as battle starts, this cloak is on me, and now I'm leeching health from everyone near me. And I also equipped the destruction apprentice spell called Leech Enchantment, which basically gives your weapon life leech. So between the two of those, my level, what was that at the time? Like level 10 warrior or 11 warrior was just pretty much tanking so much content. It was not even funny at that point. I mean, you're still going to get killed by, let's say, the trolls and stuff like that, or if you're sitting in the middle of a bunch of two-handed user bandits, you're still going to die. You're not going to out-leech that, but normal fighting, you could pretty much withstand a lot of punishment. And sometimes you could even come back from dying because you're leeching and it brings you right back. Just some cool stuff to think about. Anyway, like I said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I plan to make more when 3.0 comes out. Not just this kind of video where I'll just show you a few tips and tricks, but maybe actual like builds. Like I'll go from I'll show you the finished product of a build, and then I'll go step by step on how you can level it, and maybe some gameplay videos as well. I do want to do a let's play also for, let's say, Necromancer or some other build. I'm currently also working on a druid build. I'm tweaking it out right now as we speak. I've noticed there's plenty of plant spells in the game, and there's shape-shifting spells too. And the way they named it is actually kind of like based on druid. Like there's things like good berries and stuff like that. So I'm thinking like D&D druid, or like Diablo 2 druid. There's even like wind spells. So I figured if I could combine some of that together, I could make a funny little druid build out of that may actually work. And so this is the stuff I'm working on the side. This way you guys know. Anyway, if you like this video, please give me a like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. It will help this channel grow. And please enjoy Lorerim, and I hope to produce more videos for you shortly. Just hang out till 3.0. Thank you very much.